Good morning, dear students. I hope you all are very fine today. So, with this fresh mood, let us start with our next lesson, that is transportation in animals and plants. So, transportation, yes. How do we transport various goods, various things from one place to other, right? From one city to the other city, from one country to the other country. In the same way, we have so many things in our body to be transported from one part of our body to the other part. So how this all take place in our body? So that is what we are going to see in this chapter. So, like the goods which we transfer in our body, as we have learned earlier, we inhale oxygen and we exhale carbon dioxide, right? So, the oxygen which we have inhaled, it has to be reached to each and every cell of our body. Okay, so it means it has to be reached to every part of our body. So, the oxygen or the food that we eat, the water that we take, so those all things we need, and that has to be transported to all parts of our body, right? And also the waste material, okay, the waste which is produced after the digestion of food, also the carbon dioxide, which is of course the kind of waste, sweat, this all. So this all the things have to be transported from one part to the other part of the body, and this is done with the this is achieved by a way that is called the circulation and the function. So this all function to transport the substances. If you see this diagram, in this diagram you can see a heart. Yes, you can see the heart, and you can see the blood vessels which are going, the blue colored and the red color. What are this blue and red, that I'll tell you, but you can see all these blue and red colored blood vessels, and also you can see the heart. So all these only help us to transport all these things, that is constitute a circulatory system. This all heart and the blood vessels, they function to transport the substances, and they together form a circulatory system. So in this chapter, that is what we are going to learn about the circulatory system, that how does it work. So there are some we can see that in a system, in a circulatory system, there are certain organs which are involved. So in that first organ we will see blood. Yes, blood is an organ in our body. What is blood? If you want to define blood, it is a fluid which flows in our blood vessel. Blood is a fluid, of course it's a fluid which flows into the blood vessels which we have in our body, and this blood, it transports the substances like the digested food, the undigested waste material and everything. So what is the function of blood? First, it transports the substances like digested food, right, from the small intestine where the food gets digested. From small intestine to all the parts of body, the food is transported. And it also carries, the blood carries oxygen from lungs. Okay, we have taken the oxygen to lungs, we have seen it in the previous chapter. So the oxygen from the lungs, it goes to each and every cell of our body through what? Through the blood only. Yes, and it also transports the waste which is produced in various cells, of course in the various parts of our body, the waste which is has to be removed, and it is transported to the part wherever it is removed, up to that through the blood only. So okay, now blood carries all these substances, but how does it carry all these substances? How does it exactly work? So well, the blood is composed of a fluid. Of course it is a fluid itself, but it is again composed of a fluid called plasma. Blood is composed of a fluid called as plasma, in which again different types of cells are present in the blood. Blood composed of plasma. Plasma, in the plasma you see various types of the cells. Which are those types of cells? Mainly there are three types of cells. The RBCs, that is red blood cells, WBCs, that is white blood cells, and the platelets. So RBCs, WBCs and platelets, you must have heard about this. So what are RBCs? Let me tell you. The red blood cell which contains hemoglobin. Okay, red blood cell which contains hemoglobin, and this hemoglobin binds oxygen. This is all present in blood. Okay, the hemoglobin, it will catch the oxygen. Okay, and then this is how it will catch the oxygen and it will be transported. Of course it is present in blood. With blood it will go to all part of body and the oxygen will be transferred. Okay, so hemoglobin which is present in blood is responsible for the transport of oxygen in our body. Keep in mind. Okay, so the hemoglobin which is It is red in color, hence our blood is red in color. So we get red color because of the RBCs or the hemoglobins which it has. And the second kind of cell, as I told you, is the WBC, that is the white blood cell. What is the function of this white blood cell? Any when any germs enter in our body, so our defense mechanism of our body, it fights against that germ, and hence our body gets prevented by the attack of the germs, okay, which may cause the disease. So these white blood cells, they fight against the germs that may have entered in our body, okay. And this is about the WBCs and RBCs. Now what is the function of third type of the cell, that are the platelets. You must have observed sometime, if you must have fallen down and the blood comes out, right? The blood which comes out, does it goes on continuously? No, after some time the blood stops over there, right? The blood doesn't just go on flowing, it stops. The flow of blood stops, and you can see wherever you see the cut and the blood is coming out, it stops after some time, and you can see a dark red clot, okay. The dark red clot, it is formed on that injury, and the blood flow stops. What is this clot? This clot is formed because of the presence of these platelets in our body, in the blood. The platelets which are present in blood helps to clot the blood, and of course it is important. If the platelets would not be there, the blood would not have क्लॉट, और अगर ब्लड क्लॉट नहीं होता तो हमारा इतनी सी भी इंजरी होती तो ब्लड विल गो ऑन flowing, and we cannot afford the loss of blood, hence platelets are important. So all these three cells, RBCs, WBCs and platelets, are important in our body, which is present in the blood, क्योंकि वो हर एक important function, they perform various important functions which is needed, okay. Then the second kind is the blood vessel, as we have seen the blood and the blood vessels, okay. Now blood vessel जो हमने देखी थी पहले डायग्राम में ब्लू एंड रेड, तो क्यों दोनों कलर के क्यों दिखाए थे? The blood vessels are of two types, okay. So of course they are of two types, that is the arteries and the veins, okay. So बिकॉज ब्लड का काम क्या है, पहले हम जब इनहेल करते हैं तो ऑक्सीजन इनहेल करते हैं, एंड दैट ऑक्सीजन हैज़ टू बी ट्रांसपोर्टेड टू द रेस्ट ऑफ बॉडी, और जो बॉडी में कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड प्रोड्यूस हुआ है वो लंग्स तक लाने का काम भी ब्लड ही करेंगे. नाउ इमेजिन एक रोड है, ओके, या एक पाइप है, इस पाइप से वाटर ये साइड जाएगा या वहाँ से इधर आएगा. सो ऑफ कोर्स वी नीड टू डिफरेंट पाइप्स, okay. One pipe which will take the oxygen rich blood from lungs to all parts of body, and we also need another pipe which will bring the carbon dioxide rich blood from parts of our body to the lungs. So we need two different kinds of vessels, we need two different kinds of blood vessels, and hence we have two different kinds of blood vessels which are called arteries and veins, which are called as the arteries and veins. You can see it in the diagram, this arteries, okay. So the arteries and veins, you can see arteries का काम क्या है, they take oxygen rich blood from lungs to all the parts of body. lungs से हमारे बॉडी के हर एक पार्ट तक जो ऑक्सीजन we have to send, we have to transport, that is done by the arteries only. आर्टरीज में सिर्फ ऑक्सीजन रिच ब्लड ही जाएगा, और आर्टरीज में जो ब्लड फ्लो हो रहा है वहाँ की डायरेक्शन हमेशा इट विल बी फ्रॉम हार्ट टू दी ऑल पार्ट्स ऑफ बॉडी. तो आर्टरीज में जो ब्लड फ्लो होने वाला है दैट इज़ विद द स्पीड ऑफ ब्लड इज़ वेरी हाई, ओके, बहुत फोर्सफुली जाता है. हेंस आर्टरीज के वॉल्स दे आर वेरी थिक एंड देर इलास्टिक, सो दैट अगर ज़्यादा ब्लड भी गया तो वो बर्स्ट ना हो. सो द आर्टरीज आर थिक एंड इलास्टिक. Then if we talk about the veins, what is the function of vein? It will carry the deoxygenated blood, or it will carry the carbon dioxide rich blood from all the body parts to the lungs. You can see it in the diagram. The arteries is taking the blood away from the heart, of course not from the lung, from the heart, yes. So the arteries is carrying the blood away from the heart, and the veins are bringing the blood back to the हार्ट, ओके. सो ब्लड वेसल और हार्ट ये एक दूसरे के साथ में काम करते हैं, दे वर्क इन दी कोऑर्डिनेशन. आर्टरीज विल टेक द ब्लड अवे विच इज ऑक्सीजन रिच, एंड वेन्स विल ब्रिंग द कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रिच ब्लड इनटू द हार्ट, ओके. सो दिस इज हाउ दे फंक्शन. नाउ वी कैन सी दैट the arteries, they are split into small extremely thin tubes which are called as the capillaries. You can see at the downside, you can see the mesh of the capillaries. So arteries which bring the oxygen, it is again plated into or split into the extremely small tubes which are called as the capillaries. और capillaries फिर से एक बार सब rejoin होके फिर again they will make the vein. So this is how ये पूरा circulation हमारी body में चलते रहता है. Who does this? The heart and blood vessel. They in together, in harmony, in coordination, they perform this function. Okay, now the next thing is, of course it will be there. So if you see we have to study with an activity that how do the blood flow and how many times, like how does the blood flow through the artery. So what we have to do, you have to take the two fingers of the right hand, the middle finger and the first finger, and you have to hold your wrist of the left hand like this. You can, it's shown in the diagram, you have to hold it like this. So after holding, how the doctor does, okay, you have to hold it in this way, and you can feel some throbbing over there, ups and downs. You can see some throbbing, you can feel the throbbing over there. What is that throbbing? That throbbing is nothing but that is called as the pulse, and that is due to the blood which is flowing through your arteries. The blood which is flowing in your arteries with the force, as I told you, so that produces that throbbing. Okay, and you have to count that throbbing. You can feel it and you can count it. You can count that in 1 minute how many times you can feel that throbbing. So it will be almost, okay, and okay, how many times it does, that I'll tell you, but that is called as the pulse rate. Okay, this is called as the pulse. This is the pulse. This throbbing is called as the pulse, and which is because of the blood which is flowing into the arteries. And how many times, or the number of beats per minute, this pulse you can feel that is beating, or your heart also which beats, okay, continuously. So the number of beats per minute is called pulse rate. What is that called as? The pulse rate. So a resting person generally he beats the heart, or this pulse, it beats mostly almost average 72 times, but 70 to 80 times per minute is the pulse rate. What is the pulse rate for a normal human being? It is in the resting position, it is 72 to 80 beats per minute. Okay, you can compare this with various persons. It will be between 72 to 80 counts per minute. Okay, so as we are talking about blood, so yes, blood donation, which is needed, because you see hundreds of people who need blood, like they are in the seek of blood. They may die because of unavailability of the blood. It happens. Hundreds of people die because of the unavailability of blood. So, and the voluntary blood donation, of course it is harmless. If we do blood donation, there is a limit for blood donation, the age limit, the weight, and also how frequently you can donate the blood. But yes, it is needed. So of course if we do the blood donation, it is totally harmless, and on the contrary it is also painless, and on the contrary that is a noble thing. Okay, it increases your blood. If you donate the blood will form very fast and you will be more healthy. So you can donate the blood, and the blood of course can be donated in the hospitals, and some other places are there which is authorized by the government. And this donated blood, it is stored in the blood banks, and whenever it is needed by any person, then that will be given. So it is a very noble thing to give the blood, and it is totally harmless and painless. And on the contrary, as I said, it's very useful for our body if we give the blood. So this is how we have to try to donate the blood when you be an adult. That's it for today. We'll continue with this lesson in the next period. Okay, till then, you take care of yourself, stay safe, stay home. Bye.